Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Thanks. Thanks for making the time to meet with me and have a
No,
chat.
no worries. No worries. How do you pronounce your name?
It's Tinashe.
Tinashe. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Just thought I'd check. Um,
Okay.
so so yeah, good to meet you, Tinashe. I've had a bit of background from the Rectorec I'm talking to, but it would be good if you could maybe can you just sort of start by just talking me through career to date, just sort of 5 minute summary starting from the beginning, so I can see how you've got to where you are at the moment.
Okay. All right. 5 minutes is a short time, but I'll try
I
to
know.
make it as quick
Keep
as
it brief.
as quick as quick as possible. So,
I
um,
guess I'm just interested in the decisions you've made career wise. You know why you've made the moves you've made. I guess.
okay. All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. So, just a quick history. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. And after I finished my high school in Zimbabwe, I went to South Africa to do my uni.
Hmm.
University, I studied industrial psychology, and
Where's Fort Hare? I've not heard of it.
University of Fort Hare, it's in the Eastern Cape, in a small town called Alice. That's where
Right.
Nelson Mandela actually went.
Oh, really?
Did his study? So it's got a lot of historical. It's an old university. A lot of the
Okay. Okay.
politicians went there. So that's how I did my university and industrial psychology. My main aim when I did industrial psychology was to get into potentially HR positions. And at the time, opportunities for HR were quite limited. Other opportunities because I did my master's degree, and opportunity was going to be going into lecturing. I
Hmm.
wasn't academic, so lecturing wasn't something I wanted to do. So there were opportunities, really opportunities within recruitment, especially in South Africa, coming from Zimbabwe. So that's when I started my journey in the recruitment industry. So I
Okay.
started off, it was actually a direct business. There was a gentleman called Raymond Tinashe. He was based here in the UK. He was going to set up a research center in South Africa where you'll have
Hmm.
researchers that sort of do some research, finding candidates, and then he makes comments in the UK.
Tinashe, the sound is really bad. I can't
Oh,
hear you
okay.
very well at all.
All
Um,
right. Let me see if I can change that.
it's quite muffled.
Am I coming across now? Still bad?
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
let me take these off then.
It might be better without your headphones. Yeah, maybe your headphones are the. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? I hear you. Shall I start the meeting again? So see if that's is that any better? Put your headphones back on.
Hello?
Oh, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Is it better?
Yeah. Let's go with it. I think it's going to be the best option.
Is it
Yeah.
that low? Is it not too
No,
clear?
no,
Is
no.
it?
It's just really muffled. So it seems a little bit better now. So let's go with it.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't
No,
know how
it's
to
not your
make it.
fault. Don't worry. So yeah,
Okay.
so talk me through. So your roles in South Africa. So you did 10 years in supply chain recruitment. So tell me a bit
Yes.
about that.
Yes. So I joined Syndicate Personnel Specialists September 2010, I believe. It was a
Yep.
boutique boutique agency with two ladies. One lady was from the UK and one was from Italy. They set up the business in 1992, specializing in supply chain as well as commercials or sales and marketing roles.
Yeah.
So I started off on the supply chain recruitment side of things, and within Syndicate Personnel, supply chain was quite broad. So it was mainly within food and personal care companies.
Mm-hmm.
So in food, what we call from farm to fork, so all positions from where you source raw materials through to conversion, all the way to distribution to the retailers. So
Yeah.
I worked across procurement roles, buying, procurement, sourcing, um, quality assurance, in manufacturing, production, maintenance, mechanical, electrical engineering, all the way up to warehousing and distribution, as well as a lot of planning, demand and supply planning, sales and operations planning, VP roles, predominantly within food and drinks businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And within South Africa, the market was a bit different. Something I noted when I came here. In South Africa, the companies that afforded agencies was the blue chip businesses. So I worked a lot with your GSKs, your Nestle's, your Rocket and Kaisers,
Yeah.
all the big blue chip businesses. It's quite a monopoly. If you go into a Tesco, in Tesco equivalent in South Africa, I was giving an example to someone on the cereal aisle, you probably only find Nestle products and not much in between. But in the UK, there's so many sort of small to medium sized businesses.
Yeah.
So it tends to that was mainly the blue chips that we worked. So we did a lot of work. We're on a PSL with a lot of companies. Yearly, we used to have to go and pitch companies like Nestle, Rocket McKee's would go every year, every other year to go and pitch and be placed on the PSL again. So that's quite a lot of what we did
Okay.
in terms of
So
recruitment.
how much of that work did you bring in yourself and how much was existing clients?
Uh, when I joined the business, we had existing businesses with quite a few companies like Rocket Kaiser, GSKs. I brought in other businesses like Philips. And then most of our work was sort of developing existing businesses, mainly because we had some dormant accounts like Nestle's where we might have worked with them some years back. We're not working with them again. And I brought in companies like Kellogg's. SC Johnson was a company
Mm-hmm.
we didn't work with, managed to bring on board. Colgate Palmolive was dormant at the time with regards to supply chain. It was mainly commercial that was doing that. So I managed to get more supply chain roles on the Colgate Palmolive side as well.
Okay.
So more procurement and planning positions. So that's the
Okay.
work we did was sort of developing existing plans.
And then, so I'm guessing in 2021 you moved to the UK.
Yes, so we moved to the UK. My wife is a chartered accountant, so she got a job with PwC here in Manchester. We weren't planning to move at the time when she did the interviews. It was during that COVID time. I think the process took about 8 months. But when it so happened that you got the offer, we just thought, okay, let's go for it. And we decided to make the move. And I moved here May 2021. So I was in quarantine with my two girls because I came late after my wife. So I was in quarantine with my two girls, doing initial interviews in the hotel on Teams on my on my
Wow.
phone
Okay.
at the time, that's when I got the opportunity with Alexander Steele. And
Mhm.
Alexander Steele, they headquartered in Edinburgh, but they were opening a commercial department in Manchester. So I was the first hire in the commercial team, um, reporting to the head of commercial. So I thought it was going to be quite nice because it will be the two of us. It was my first time at getting to know the UK market. So I've done recruitment for almost 10 years, but I didn't know anything about the UK market or the companies here. So it was quite nice sitting with Greg, meeting ideas. He was doing a lot of sales and marketing positions. So these are account managers. So when I joined the business, I was a senior consultant on the commercial side of things and bringing in new business. I think Point X was one of the Plant X ingredients was ingredients business. That was one of the first clients I brought in, I think in my first months, and they were looking for a plant manager for the UK. So the first position we actually placed was a supply chain. One of our colleagues in Edinburgh got a position with Progress Global,
Mhm.
supply chain collaboration lead. So the business didn't have anyone specializing in supply chain. So the role was handed over to me and I placed it. And then they decided, okay, we don't have any supply chain specialist in the company. So why don't you continue business development in supply chain? And you can still continue working commercial roles. I was working commercial roles for plant-based ingredients as well as Sampler. They do
Mhm.
uh, packaging, and there's also a company I was doing commercial recruitment for Southgate Global. They do packaging solutions. So I was allowed to continue working commercial roles with those businesses, but from then on, my business development was more focused in supply chain, and it was more streamlined. Yes, so my supply chain is mainly planning, procurement, and
Mhm.
logistics positions. Because we've got teams in Edinburgh doing manufacturing, some doing engineering, so it's all separate. So at the
Okay.
moment, my teams are logistics, planning, and procurement.
Okay. And what's your reason for looking at other opportunities?
When we started off, the team in Manchester were going to the office 3 days a week, and the Manchester team closed down. After about a year and a half, they closed down. They decided to move back. They moved into a bigger office in Edinburgh, so they decided it's going to be a challenge trying to grow two offices because we also had resignations here. So they closed down the Manchester office and have been working fully remote since then. So, in terms of fully remote, it's been nice in terms of work-life balance because I've got three kids, 13, 11, and 2 years old. So it's been nice in terms of work-life balance, but I think I've taken a hit in terms of my billings. I've taken a hit in terms of that when I go to Edinburgh about once a month or every other 2 months for 2 to 3 days, and you can hear the vibes when you're doing business development, you're bouncing around ideas. Someone's
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
you, sense of this company, who's contacted us, anyone's spoken. So, such things we used to bounce around in the office, and when you're in the office, it's not by yourself. And the fact is, I've only had 1.5 years UK market industry experience, and then it's back to being in myself in the office. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
no, I
so I could
understand.
so I took a hit in terms of my billings, and it's still we've got potential to be billing more, working with bigger clients, bigger roles if I'm in that sort of environment. So
Okay.
when I looked, so I started looking around, and PSD, obviously the business, I looked at the business, very established, working across a wide range of sectors, and the big businesses. I was also looking at some of the case studies of the roles you've worked. So I kind of thought, okay, I think I might be able to give this a shot. It'll be an interesting opportunity potentially.
So you're in terms of billings the last couple of years, and just give me an idea of that.
Okay, so my first year I was targeted, I think about 120. Um,
Hmm.
this was this was from I joined in July. So from July to let me just see here. All right, so from July to we do from Feb to Feb. So financial year starts in Feb. So I started off in July. So that initial 6 months, I did my first placement in the second month, and
Mm-hmm.
my billings came to almost, I think in that 6 months, they came to about close to 40K. That was
Mm-hmm.
when I just started. And then from 22 to 23, so Feb 22 to Feb 2023, about 126, 120,
126. Yeah.
126K. And
Yeah.
then from that, from 2023 to 2024, that's when I took a bit of a look. When I started working from home, that went down to 105, 105,
105.
105, 105. And then 2024 to 2025, I'm a bit better, but not as high as I need to be at. That was 110,
So,
110.
right. So you're hovering around the kind of 110 mark at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. And you think moving into an environment where you're working more closely with a team would impact positively on those
I think it
billings?
will. Working from home is great, but there's also distraction. We've got a 2-year-old. We've got a babysitter who comes a few days, but it's a bit different. I think when I'm in an office environment where I get to meet people like 3 or 4 days a week, whatever the case is, and we're doing business development, it's a bit more. And you've got the names on the boards. You're seeing who's performing here, what they're performing. I think the drive back was how it was in the first year. We
Yeah,
came
yeah.
to about in the office with our names on the board. So there's kind of that healthy competition in terms of you've got that drive in terms of trying to get that new business and make placements. And I think, yes, we do have the drive. I think in recruitment, you always have the drive because it's the commission that drives us. But I
Yeah.
think I've taken it up working with myself versus being in an office environment where I can mix with other
Okay.
colleagues. Yeah.
So where are you based at the moment? Where do you live?
I'm based in Manchester, in Altrincham. Altrincham
Okay.
is in the south of Manchester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, know it. Okay. So, and just checking, so what's your visa? Do you have a visa or what's your working status?
Yes, I'm on a dependent visa, on my wife's dependent visa, so I can work without any requirement for sponsorship. We renewed them already, so in July next year, 2026, we're eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain, which is
Excellent.
what
Okay.
we're planning to do. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. Right, I'll give you a bit of background to what we have. And I'm always
Okay.
brutally honest with people because I think it's really important that you know what the situation is with us. So we've had a bit of a rebirth in Manchester. So we
Okay.
we had a really established business over many years, quite strong in the property sector. And we've had sort of 30 consultants in Manchester at our peak. Um, we we then went through a bit of a period where a lot of people went and set up on their own, and we lost some really established consultants. So we were down to probably a couple of established heads, and then we were on a bit of a rebuild. Um, the MD who was responsible at the time was not the right fit, and in the end, the team that he built hemorrhaged and left. So we were back to square one. So last year, we had to exit our MD, and I took over a business that has had two permanent consultants and Charlotte, who does our office support.
Was
In a
down
really
from 30 to 2, eh?
in
Okay.
a really lovely office. I mean, that was it was a gradual decline. In recruitment, obviously there's a lot of talent teams now that weren't here. So there were already going to be less people doing what we do. But we had quite an extreme downturn. So my background is I've been 30 years with the business. I'm based in the south, but I've got a lot of clients in Manchester. So I said I would do it. And since last June, July, I've sort of taken responsibility for the business, and we're gradually rebuilding. So at the moment, we've got some really good new hires that have come in, covering. So the main areas we cover, we've got finance, we've got marketing, we've got what else have we got? Technology, and then we've got the two really established people. We've got one who does sort of risk and compliance and audit, and
Okay.
Christian Shawcross, who And I'm mentioning him specifically. His background is all procurement and supply chain, and he's been
Okay.
doing that with our business for over 20 years.
Oh, all
So,
right. Okay.
so he's a really experienced person in that space. And what I'm trying to do, I'm hiring really selectively because I want to make sure we're building a sustainable business. But it's difficult at the moment because everybody, bar tech, where I've hired a person to work with me, they're all working in isolation a little bit. We work really closely. We've got a big office in London. We work really closely with the London office, but we are regionally focused. So we're on a bit of a rebuild, and
Okay.
it's
All right.
it's it's fun, it's challenging. The people, and we all, there's a really good team spirit,
Yeah.
but it's tough, and we're in a difficult market, and we're trying to rebuild, and it's taking time. We're getting there.
Yeah.
um my view is that any one of the individual consultants would benefit from having another person working with them. So I don't feel that if you bring another person in to do procurement alongside Christian, that will take away from Christian. I think two people can bring in another third of work because you're sharing candidates, you're sharing leads, you're kind of pushing
True.
each other a little bit. So um, while I wasn't necessarily actively looking for someone in procurement, my gaps are more finance, and I want to bring a HR person in. I saw your CV and I thought, you know what, it's worth a conversation, because actually, um, depending on what you want and whether the setup would work for you, we're not a big buzzy office of 50
Yep.
people. It's a small team, but a really nice team environment.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could work, because actually having another person working alongside Christian in that space would probably be not a bad idea. So that's why I thought it was worth us having the conversation. So
I
yeah, we've
like.
got current team of 7, really nice office right on St. Peter's Square. We've got our
Okay.
search business, Hoggett Bowers, sharing an office with us as well. So there's 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, we're not at the busy buzzy stage yet. We're still trying to get there.
I think that works all right with me. At syndicate personnel, where I was in South Africa, I think the highest we got was about 15 employees. Here at Edinburgh, I think in Edinburgh it's about 12 or 13 of them. When I was here in Manchester, the most we got to was about five of us. And it worked all right with me because I
Mhm.
like it close knit. So I've always worked in sort of environments like that, which are close knit. And I think procurement is great. I brought on Infineum, a petrochemical company. I don't know if you've heard the
No, I
joint
do know them.
joint
I
venture.
know Infinium,
You do
yeah.
know Infineum, yeah. So I've actually placed 2 procurement roles with them. So it's just interesting that procurement is versatile, works across all sorts of businesses, I think, which is
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
area
I
to
had
leverage. Yeah.
we had a meeting with their chief people officer just this week, actually.
Oh,
Um,
okay. All right. All right.
Interestingly.
I only work
Um,
with the business partner. They're not the senior, but it's yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you about Mars. How did you get into Mars?
Mars Food Group. I got in with the supply chain director in Slough. I spoke in a candidate was coming from Mondelez.
Hmm.
Um, and he introduced me to, so expecting she was I think she was a demand and supply planner. This was almost 2 years ago now, but I stepped in a demand and supply planner from Mondelez. She was staying in the West Midlands area, but she was moving down south, and she was looking for opportunities. So then the supply chain director, it's Asian, forgot his name, but he introduced me to the head of planning manager, and then she needed materials planning at the time. So it went the demand planner that I had, but she was looking for a materials planner. And then there was a guy who was being made redundant from um it's getting it's too, but I placed the materials planner basically with them at the time. But then from then on, it's been quiet. It was just once when we placed, but I had spec in planning engaged to the director, and then
Okay.
he referred me to the planning manager there.
Um, so, and I mean, realistic. Well, a couple of things, I guess. So, for in our world, 120 in a year is probably what I'd expect a new person going into their second year to be doing. And most of our experienced consultants are billing, 300 plus a year,
Okay.
just to manage your expectations. How do you sort of manage your day, given you're working remotely? How do you split the time? How do you ensure you're doing enough business development?
Okay. So I normally assign my business development for the mornings. So normally I set up my plan on the Sunday. In terms of our business development, yeah, we normally split it in about three. So the first thing is sending out specs to companies. So I normally make sure I've got two good candidates that I can spec out to different. I'm aiming my focus now. In the last year, I was doing London and surrounding counties, but this year I'm working around the whole Midlands belt. So make sure I've got two good candidates, whether it's in planning procurement mainly. I've got two good candidates that I can spec out. And I'm also gathering leads on LinkedIn. So the next thing is
Mhm.
also gathering leads on LinkedIn. So one day I can send spec outs to about 10, 15 different companies trying to get contacts. Normally the hiring managers as well as talent acquisition, they seem to be
Mhm.
quite painful these days, depending on the company, of course. And then the next day, I'll be following up with calls normally. If I can get calls, we've got Lucia and other sort of
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the-
we have all of those things.
so we try to, so next day I'll be following up with calls. Then the next day I can do leads. So I follow up 10, 15 leads. I tend to get candidates for most of the leads, but sometimes we're not able to do that. So just try to set up an introduction on email, following up with calls the next day to find out if they might need any assistance. We've got Bullhorn as well. So we've got a leads in terms of our the system that we use Bullhorn. So I've got leads, then I check on leads every week or every 2 weeks. If there's nothing else to follow up
Okay.
on contacts. And so that's how we normally try to do, have two specs out and have contact at least about 15 to 20 leads a week that I'm reaching out to. So that's that's normally my target. And then trying to stick to at least 15 to 20 contacts in a week, speaking to them, which is not very easy these days, getting hold of people you can
Yeah,
get numbers, but
yeah,
but
it's
yes,
hard, isn't it?
so that's normally the target that we try to do. 15 to 20 contacts and two spec outs and at least about 15 to 20 leads that I'm reaching out to per week.
And your personal network, and I get you would have restrictions and non-competes and things, but where's your personal network and how strong is that
My personal network in terms of clients
in
or
terms of potential clients and candidates and things?
so it would be in food mainly.
Hmm.
So food companies like Tradis Global, we do a lot of work with them. They do have a strong talent team now, but they're doing a lot of their own internal recruitment. I've worked quite a bit with Itsu
Hmm.
Groceries. Alex was a supply chain director there. I've worked some planners, demand planners for his team, but it's not
Hmm.
always very easy to get in there. And then there was the menu partners as well. It's food business, the menu partners. Church and Dwight, they're Folkestone and London. They don't have their own recruitment now, but they always have quite a few roles. I placed the head of innovation with them in London when I got them on as a client. So we've done a
Yeah.
few roles with them. And yeah, and there's also the menu partners. I did procurement, I think I mentioned. So mainly food businesses is the ones that I'm working with. And then we've
Okay.
got Infinium is the one I'm working with on the petrochemical side, but our
Yeah.
main focus is food and drinks. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what else do I need to ask you?
Eh,
Do you have any questions for me at this stage?
Yeah, in terms of industries that you work with, you're not mainly FMCG space. Is it mainly technology or the industries like where you
We
mentioned?
you'll have seen the word if you can navigate our website because it's awful and it's being redone at the moment. So that as a business school throughout the UK, if our main sectors are sport and leisure, hospitality, technology, and property, real estate. Manchester's a
Okay.
little bit different because we also have a bit more of a regional. So Christian actually works throughout the UK.
Okay.
Some of our consultants do, but we try and have a bit of a regional focus as well. So financial services is another big sector for us.
Okay. All right.
So it's those sectors mainly, but to be honest, Manchester, we also focus on local businesses that that would need our help, because I think sometimes Manchester businesses like to work with local suppliers.
They
So
do. Yeah.
so there's no constraint around sector particularly,
Okay. All right.
but those are probably the ones where we've got the strongest track record. In technology, I work with a real mixture because I follow my network and my network moves around, so I move with it.
Okay.
We
All
also
right.
do quite a bit of work also in consulting, in supply chain and procurement. So, kind of sourcing advisory and supply chain advisory consultancies. So that's
Okay.
another
All right.
string to the work that we do in that. And Christian does quite a bit in that space as well.
Okay. And I think what I also liked about PSD, I did see those industries, and a lot of those industries I've noted their salaries are better than food and drinks.
Yeah.
With the small to medium size, because the big businesses in food and drinks, when I came here, I was telling you I had to have a mind shift. When my manager would ask me what my BD list is looking like, I'll put Unilever and Nestle. You're like, take all of those off. They've got their own teams, they do their own recruitment, leave them alone, leave them alone. So you kind of realize the small to medium sized business, food and drinks, it's
Yeah.
investments they are not as big sometimes as you'd want them to be. But if it's a pharmaceutical company or finance business, procurement versus someone in procurement in food, the salaries are quite vast. And even the consulting businesses like KPMGs, etc., those salaries are quite
Yeah.
higher
Yeah. Yeah.
also. So,
Yeah.
so that's why
Yeah.
I was kind of keen to get an opportunity to work with those
Yeah.
businesses, because I know the fees there are much bigger. And it should be a challenge, obviously, getting the business. But I think once you have it, the fees are bigger and you can make much bigger
Yeah.
placements. Yeah.
No, we had the same thing. So I used to do quite a bit of work in FMCG when I first started out, and I did all the recruitment for Mars for their. That's why I was asking about Mars for their
Yeah.
technology function in
Oh,
Slough.
okay.
But the talent team have taken over everything. So
Yeah.
those big businesses, that you might get the odd sporadic hire, we might do something at a senior level, but it's really difficult now because the day-to-day stuff that's easy to fill, they're going to be able to fill them themselves. So
True.
they
True.
don't use us. So we again tend to target the mid-size organizations that don't necessarily have that capability in-house.
Yeah. Okay.
I would always be really clear with anyone coming in. You should absolutely leverage the relationships and the clients that we have across the
Better.
business.
Okay.
But I would always say to anyone coming in, assume there's nothing, because if we bring people in and promise them a nice warm account or client base, and we don't have, nobody has that these days. It's a really tough market.
Yeah.
So expect that you'll have a really good candidate base, because we've got very good, and Christian's track record over the years is really strong. But
Yeah.
in terms of clients that we would be able to give you, you would have to develop it and assume you're
Yeah.
developing it from scratch, because that's what everybody has to do.
Yeah. And I think with the track record, you would have worked, because I know even when I joined, there's a lot of clients I was working with that were last contacted 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's always like the sort of low hanging fruit, if you can call it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
think with the tenure of the business, there would be some touch points. If Chris has been in
Yeah.
the business,
No,
he
we're
probably has
doing
some.
that. We're doing that at the moment. We're
So
going back over everyone we've placed historically, all the clients we've worked with historically, but a lot of those people have moved organisations, and it's quite a hard job to catch up with everybody. But that's really, I mean, that is genuinely the process we're going through with the team in Manchester at the moment.
yeah. And I think
But everyone's in the same situation, so
Yeah, I think I'd say the same for us as well. It's the same. We worked with companies like Prodis. They've beefed up their talent team. They used to be our customer. We always
yeah,
used to have supply chain roles. So for the past year or two, it's been the same, trying to split as much as you can. And sometimes you get a one-off, and then they're quiet again. They don't need your help, and
yeah,
it's too much
yeah,
to get for. So I think the challenge is everywhere in terms of getting that
absolutely,
new business, and that's what we are doing now. We're trying to get new business, trying to get the old clients back. And so I think
yeah,
it'd be quite similar to what we're doing as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
No, definitely. Um, and so just in terms, so did you have other questions for me? Go, feel free to ask.
That was the main question. I think the other thing you mentioned already when you spoke about you were 30, so because I wanted to know how's the business performing
We
in the
were
past
we were 30 about
years.
10 years,
So,
10
so,
years
so
ago,
oh, 10
you
years
know.
ago. So you kind of gave me that overall summary because I just wanted to understand overall
Yeah. We're on a rebuild.
performance and
We are very much a project at the moment. And you know, hope you know, I'm absolutely confident. We've got the backing of our board to rebuild. We've got new offices we moved to a couple of years ago. We want to fill them, but I mean it's been a really tough market for the last 2-3 years. So
yeah,
we've got to, anyone we're bringing in at the moment, we've got to be really confident that they'll be able to make a success of it.
okay,
And
all right.
you know, I think that's really that's why, you
What's
know, we're
key?
not just going to go out and hire lots of people just to fill the business up, but it's got to be
Yeah,
experienced people who know their market, I think.
all right. Okay, which makes sense. Which makes sense. And what does PSD stand for? What?
Well, I've been around long enough to know that. So it stood for Professional Selection and Development, but about 20 years ago. So we
Okay.
dropped it. We dropped the name, and it's just been PSD for years.
Just okay, all right, no, that's fine. All right, no,
Yeah,
that's all right. No, I
yeah.
was just wondering because I couldn't find it anywhere.
No, no, no. I know. I doubt many people know that actually. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
around when they named it. Um,
yeah.
so and right. So on a personal note, then, and I've got a bit of a history here. So I'm struggling to see the attraction of Manchester over South Africa.
All of a sudden,
Explain that one.
all
I'm
right,
the
yeah,
other I'm the
I've
other
heard,
way.
I've heard,
I'm based here and spend half my time in South Africa. So I'm trying to work out.
I've heard many people telling us the same thing, and there are so many things we miss about back home. Mainly, people say the quality of life, and yes, to be honest, the quality of life in South Africa is much better. We had a helper that we're staying with at the house, so with the kids, you just wake up in the morning. The kids are dressed in uniform. You just have to drop them at school on your way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, when
yeah,
the lady, transport lady, who picked up the kids from school, dropped them home. Well, I hope I did homework with them, and because it's cheap to get, it's not expensive.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
hope
yeah,
I got them, did the homework with them, everything. You just get home, food's in the microwave or the oven, and so that's the kind of life we're used to. And then,
yeah,
um, but coming from Zimbabwe, I don't know if you know, South Africa is what they call BEE, Black Economic Empowerment.
yeah,
So they prioritize Black South Africans in terms of opportunities for progression. So even
yeah.
jobs, one of the challenges, I couldn't get a job or I struggled to get a job in sort of mainstream commercial is because
Because you were from Zimbabwe.
because I'm from Zimbabwe,
Wow.
and
Okay.
the priority is given to um, Black South
The
Africans. So
locals.
yes,
Yeah.
my wife did chartered accounting, so that was a bit more of a specialized field. So
Yeah, yeah.
they took, they took me on into an agency there or big consulting business there. But for
Yeah.
me, having HR and digital psychology, I'm competing with other HR Black South Africans and they get preference. So recruitment was always considered a tough market. So many people they turn over. So most people don't want to go into that field, but it was open for someone for someone like me. So that's where I ended up. But in terms of even development, even my wife's career, where she was, for her to become a partner in a business, it was almost nearly impossible because
Yeah.
spots are given to Black South Africans, and the companies are rated in terms of their senior leadership. They need
Yeah.
to have South Africans. So in terms of coming from Zimbabwe, it's there are opportunities for kind of, whereas in the UK, we're always told if you're hardworking, you get what you deserve, and
Yeah.
so that's where we kind of had, and we've got kids as well, so we kind of decided, okay, we want a good life for them, and there's
Yeah.
no load shedding and pockets. If you've been to South Africa, I'm sure
I've got a house in South
you,
Africa, so I
oh,
know
you've got a house or something.
yeah.
So you understand, so and then we also had we're in Johannesburg. There was a time our house was broken into. Thank God
Yeah.
none of us the cost when we woke up, the TV was gone down. So there's a lot of those factors that we just
Yeah, no,
decide.
I get that. Where were you living in Johannesburg? Were you near
In
Johannesburg?
Johannesburg, yeah, Northgate, yeah, in Johannesburg.
Okay. Okay.
And
And
you,
where in Zimbabwe are you from?
Harare, my parents are still in Zimbabwe, in the capital city.
In
Yeah,
Harare.
yeah, in
Yeah.
Harare. Yeah. Have you been
Yeah.
to Zim as well,
Yeah, I've been
Zimbabwe?
to
Yeah.
them, yeah, many times, but not for was the last time we went? Probably about 10 years ago. I think
Years
for
ago.
us, for traveling from the UK now, it's really difficult. It used to be, I
This.
mean, we spent many holidays out in Hwangi and Lake
Oh
Kyle and all
yeah,
those places.
very nice
Um,
places.
Absolutely loved it. And but then obviously it got very difficult. They didn't like British people traveling, so
Yeah,
we decided to buy in South Africa
South
instead.
Africa.
So that's my
Okay.
plan. Once I've finished with this, I've got to
Yeah.
fix Manchester, and then I'm retiring to Hazyview, and
Oh,
that's me done.
wow. And we went on holiday to Eziview a few, but that's in Mpumalanga. It's we went to it's in the Sun Hotel we went to, which has a golf course, but that's a
Oh,
lovely.
was it
Yeah.
Kruger Park
So
Lodge?
I think that's the one, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. Um,
that's where I have a house in Kruger Park Lodge.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
wow, wow. That's a very nice
yeah.
place. That's a
It's
nice
yeah,
place.
it's near the Kruger Park. It's about 20 minutes from
Yeah,
Kruger.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Eziview
no,
was staying.
we bought there a couple of years ago, and we spend all our summers out
Yeah.
there now. So
No, it's
yeah,
beautiful. No, I remember
yeah.
that holiday. It was one of our destinations.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes. So
Yeah, yeah.
come work for me. You get access to Kruger Park Lodge. It's all part
Oh,
of the deal.
fantastic. That's a perk.
Absolutely.
That's a perk.
Um, no, listen, it's been really lovely to talk to you.
Good
Have a
talking to you
think
too.
about what I've said to you. I think, you would have to come in knowing it's going to be hard,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to do a lot of business development, and that's just the nature of it. But you'll be doing it with a team of really nice people who are all, I mean, I'm the MD. I'm doing business development every day at the moment because it's tough,
Yeah, yeah.
so you wouldn't be on your own.
Okay.
And then if you want to talk further,
Yes.
my suggestion would be that you meet with Christian,
Okay.
obviously because of his procurement background, and Rick, who's the other person who's been with the business a long time, and
Okay.
have a chat with them, because they know what we look for, but also they can tell you what it's like day to day. I'm
Okay.
obviously a little bit removed from they're there every day. Well, we're there 3 days a week. We do 3 days in the
Okay.
office.
That's good.
Um,
All right.
so, and you can do that face to face or on Teams. That's up to you, whatever works best for you.
Okay.
So
All right.
have a think about it, and then come back and let us know what you want to do. And if you want to
Fantastic.
discuss further, then yeah, more than happy to have another conversation with you about it.
All right. All right. Now I'm glad to do that. No, that's great. I'm going to get back to Richard, but yeah, I'll be keen to have a chat with Christian since I'll be working probably with him on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis. And would I
Okay.
be reporting directly to you or to Christian
Probably
then, or
me.
to you? Okay.
Sorry about that. For now,
But
till I'm in Hazyview full
I,
time, and then it would be someone
I
else.
report to the MD at the moment as well. So that's
Yeah, no.
that's all right.
We have a very
Okay.
flat structure up there. Everyone at the moment, everyone seems to report to me. I'm not planning on that to be the case forever, but yeah, at the
Okay.
moment, while we're fixing things, that's the case. But
Okay.
you'd work really close with the rest of the guys as well there.
Okay. All right. No, that's great. No, that's great. It's nice to be working alongside someone who's quite seasoned in the company, so they'll know exactly
Yeah.
what they're doing. No, I'm
Well,
happy to
look,
do that. Yeah.
what I'd suggest is if you have a chat with Rick and Christian next week maybe on Teams, you might need to work
Okay.
on your microphone though, because it's still not great.
I'll try and
And
sort it
then
out, definitely.
and
Sorry about
then
that. Yeah.
no, it's fine. And then if if that goes well, then we'll get you into the office. But maybe go back and we'll set something up on Teams next week when Christian's on holiday this week, but we can definitely do something next week.
Okay. All right. No, I'll be happy to do that.
Good,
That's great.
good,
Okay.
really nice to meet you. And
Good to meet
yeah,
you too.
I'm sure we'll speak again.
Great chatting. All right. Looking
All
forward
right,
to chatting with you soon. Okay.
brilliant.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.